Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Anna and today we want to discuss something very important. Olivia Rodrigo's third studio album, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So In Love. The album title just goes very easily out of my tongue. Finally, I trained myself really hard. We have so much to talk about it. I did decoding of the album rollout already, but now that we have the album, there's just so much to analyze with. So I'm very excited to do like a bunch of videos about the album. And today we start with something very specific, but before we go into the video, I have to say the heat waves are freaking me out. I feel like a melting candle. It's so hard. I'm happy that we finally have summer, but this year is just insane. It's June and in northern Germany it doesn't get that hot, but like the heat waves here are insane. So I'm just trying to survive, honestly. Let's go right into the video. We have to talk about the Sex and the City references because Olivia Rodrigo did a bunch of interviews for the rollout, which I love. I think it's so cool that she is really promoting her album, and I'm looking forward for a lot of performances too. But I love how she's doing so many different kind of interviews, kind of old school to do that. I think nowadays artists just like drop an album and you never hear from them again, so they are not really promoting it. And she said several times that she was very inspired by Sex and the City. Sex and the City is like one of my favorite TV shows, and it's so iconic and there's so much food for thought. I have like picked 3 songs that are very much Sex and the City coded. The first one may surprise you. It is Expectations. Let's see what is the song about. So Expectations, when you quote Genius, they say expectations describe Rodrigo's self-development and setting standards when it comes to dating, prioritizing herself over men, which we love. This song reminds me so much of Charlotte York because that woman is such a catch.
I'm pretty and I'm smart. I'm a catch.
She's so beautiful, smart, well-spoken, always so put together. As she herself said, she's a catch and worth $1 million and so much more. Unfortunately, she always managed to pick the most disastrous men to date. She dated the most unhinged weirdos that doesn't respect her and didn't want a serious relationship. I remember how Charlotte realized someday that she needs to watch out for red flags. And don't be so naive. I think this is a Charlotte anthem song. You can just go right into the song. We start with, I met him at a party. I think he was on drugs. He wasn't smart or funny. I convinced myself he was. How many boring, toxic men did Charlotte met on a random party and tried to convince herself, this is Mr. Right, I will marry him? There was a guy who always licked Charlotte's face. That one who insulted her for foreplay. It was his fetish to do that. Is so strange. Then we go further. He had a great apartment and a car his parents bought. I thought he was perfect and now his number is blocked, period. And these are the things Charlotte looked for in a man before anything else. She knew if he's intelligent or kind and gentle. She wanted to know if he's old money. Her most important thing, that he was rich and looked good, classy. And you can see that with Trey too. Trey was perfect on paper. He was old money, but she didn't pay attention to the fact whether they have chemistry or not. They haven't slept together before marriage, and we all know how it ended. Let's go to the chorus. I won't settle for a guy with a fake job. Yeah, what kind of job did her lovers have? Yeah, even Trey, he just was rich, right? This was kind of the problem. They were all very lazy, privileged men. And then she met Harry. Harry was the first one who had a real job. He was a lawyer and he was very ambitious. I'm not kissing a boy that is passive. Their indecision is painfully unattractive. How I said, she always picked men who didn't want to commit to a serious relationship. And one day she was just so tired of it and married Harry. The next one is actually the line that just made it click for me immediately. So I hit the new year like a single girl at a Vegas bar, rocking my mini dress with a vodka cran and an open heart. This is so Charlotte coded. Charlotte in that Atlantic City casino wearing that insane pink mini dress. We all remember that. I will blend it in. She was in a bad mood at the time because it was her birthday and she didn't want to get older, and she went with a gang to the Atlantic City casino, but she was dressed like a grandma. And then all of of a sudden she came back wearing that insane pink mini dress. She looked so good, so hot and confident. The scene reminded me of that, like Vegas and that mini dress, also like the vodka cran. Cosmopolitans are essential to Sex and the City. So vodka cran is basically a Cosmo. So yeah, and Olivia sang about how that she will not lose her face. I think that's very Charlotte coded in that sense that even though Charlotte got played so much, she will never lose her faith. She will never lose the hope of having that picture perfect family, and she got it. So, and for the next one, we have Maggots for Brains. I love the song title so much. And on Genius, it actually is written that the song is by Miranda and Steve. And I think it's so interesting because this is one of the most realistic couples. Not in a good way, honestly, I don't like Steve. But first of all, justice for Miranda. She was so mistreated the whole damn time by her friends, by Steve, by her colleagues, literally everyone. She was such a great person, but the show didn't see that, but they all just treated her like shit. And that's why I'm very happy for some Miranda appreciation. And she is my personal favorite. And we go right to the song. So Maggots for Brain compares lovesickness and codependency to having a rotting brain, being practically catatonic and unable to function properly without her partner. And I think it is very like Miranda and Steve coded that codependency. They are very codependent. I think Steve is more dependent on Miranda. They do have that very toxic codependency. Let's start with verse 1. My day was so mundane, I don't think I left the house. This is very Miranda coded. Do you guys remember how she went home every day after work just to order the same food from the same restaurant? And then I think she watched the same telenovela, and her days were so predictable that even the woman on the phone of the restaurant she keeps on ordering off knows exactly what she wants to order. Her days were very mundane. And then we go further into verse 1. So somehow it's a weekend, I'm still bored out of my skull, and I went to a party but only on principle. This is also very Miranda coded because like I remember the one scene where she was in such a bad mood. She was very grumpy. She's always kind of grumpy. She went to one bar just completely by herself, and she was like very lonely in that bar, but she just went anyways because on principle. And then she met Steve there. He was also very grumpy, and their freaks kind of matched. I like that scene actually. Oh, and of course, sorry, I forgot that one. Actually, this is like the most important thing. I'm sorry that I forgot it. Verse 2, everything feels moldy like the fruit that's in my fridge, and everything that's funny I wish I could tell to him. And this is a direct reference because that one scene where Miranda tells Steve that everything that's funny I wish I could tell to you. I think that's such a relatable thing when you're separating with your partner and you just think of something funny, an inside joke maybe, and you just want to tell it to him, but you're just not in contact right now. I think Maggots for Brain is definitely a Miranda song. And then we have the last song. It is Stupid Song. And I think Stupid Song is like my personal favorite song out of the whole album because it's like a typical Olivia Rodrigo song. It starts slowly and then it gets crazy, especially with the bridge. And I love the music video, and we will go right into the music video because it is so Carrie Bradshaw coded. First of all, we have New York and ballet dancers on the street, and they're looking left and right because they don't want to get dirty by a bus. Doesn't that sound familiar? It reminds me of the iconic Sex and the City intro when Carrie wears a pink collared tutu and she's kind of looking like a ballet dancer on the streets of New York. And in the beginning of the Stupid Song music video, we see Olivia going to the ballet dancers looking very emo. It even looks like it's a street where Carrie lives. And for the lyrics, to be honest, a lot could be seen as Carrie, but it isn't specific enough. It could have been Miranda or Charlotte too. So the first one that really catch my attention is the line, I'm sleeping in my dress and my high heels. There is actually a direct reference to that one Sex and the City scene. I remember that one episode when she waited for Alexander. Remember Alexander? Like the worst lover she had? I think Alexander and Berger? Yes, Berger. these ex-lovers were kind of scary too. Like, they're not only toxic, they are kind of scary. I wouldn't like to be alone with them in a room. Especially Berger, maybe even more. Her terrible ex-lover, who she moved to Paris with. Once she wore a beautiful, beautiful gown and looked so stunning, and that guy just let her wait so long that she fell asleep in her beautiful dress and in her beautiful high heels in that gigantic bed. And he found her like that, and I think this is a direct reference to that scene. I love that. This is like that line that drew my attention to the song. I thought, you know what, it's not just the music video that is Carrie-coded, but also that song reminds me of that. I think the song in general is just really like Delulu in love and very anxious attachment coded. Carrie's very anxious attachment coded. Not with everyone, but obviously with Mr. Big she is. These were all my Sex and the City references. There are some songs that remind me of Samantha, and even one song that reminded me of Harry. It's Drop Dead actually. But it didn't feel right. They weren't specific enough. I just chose the 3 songs that reminded me the most of Sex and the City characters, like that mini dress, the in the casino, the sleeping in my dress and my high heels, and that one's dialogue with Miranda and Steve. That are like direct references, and the rest is kind of, you know, you could see that as a Samantha song, but it's not specific enough to be a Samantha song. But if you have any other clues for Sex and City references, if I overlooked something, or I don't know, if there's just some song that reminds you of a specific person in Sex and City or a specific moment, you can tell me in the comments. There's just so much to unpack. So if you have a song that reminds you of a Sex and City character, write it down immediately in the comment section. I would love to know. And you can tell me too, what's your favorite track out of the album. Mine, as I said, Stupid Song, but also The Cure. I love The Cure. I think this is like a very nostalgic song, not because it's nostalgia bait, but because it is so well thought and put together. Like, it's a long, long song and it builds up, and it doesn't give a damn about the short attention span we have. And the music video is too, so like, the music video really helps the song to be stronger. I love that. So yeah, that's my 2 favorite tracks out of the album. Let me know what your are. And I'm so excited to see what she will perform and how the Grammys will be. I think the Grammys will be insane. So yeah, thank you for watching. And if you want to see more, I have a host channel where I'm talking about music and pop culture. I wish you all a happy weekend and a happy week. We will see each other in the next video. I hope you will tune in, and thank you for watching. Bye!